Hello everyone, this video is going to be a guide through the practice journal to inspire or maybe motivate you to take something that resonates from the video and include in your own practice. This practice journal is based on the PianoWell teaching for my students, but I believe it can be used for any of you who prefer their method and follow the method that works for you. And by the way, you can find this practice journal if you are going to be interested after this video online for free on my website retrainingpianist.com, not in a PDF but just as an online version. So let's go. We have a table of content. This is the part, the regular practice routine that we're going to focus on today, and this is for about 1 to 2 hours practice daily. So it's a very gentle practice routine that you would be happy to follow just for your enjoyment. Now, the way I structure the practice journal is sort of zooming out first to see from the higher perspective what you can do, what you can achieve, and then sort of with every page going closer and closer into every day in more detail. With that, we're going to start with just right away seeing what you can achieve in a month by practicing 2 hours, and in a year 2 pieces and about 1.5 hours of music in a year. Now, when I'm gonna speak about a new piece, I'm gonna refer to a very particular amount of pages and minutes. So I think that helps a lot. Again, it's more clear what I mean by one piece. So the plan that we're going to follow is for one piece that is about 4 or 5 pages. That would be about 4 to 5 minutes of music if it's a slow to moderate pace. And maybe about 1 or 2 minutes if it's a fast piece. Okay, so here are 2 short pieces, so that's what you get in 1 month. Down there you can, this is just for those who finished the system. There is some level 1, 2, 3 pieces with music score and my practice journal sessions, how I follow them. All of them gradually prepare pianists to apply the method and apply the practice journal to more advanced and high-level pieces. Obviously, we're talking about classical virtuoso music by Chopin, Liszt, Rachmaninoff. If you're interested here, my practice journal live sessions, recorded it, the full entire session, no editing, what I've done every day. Quite entertaining. Next page, again, I have to start from here. This is the regular practice routine that we will discuss today. Again, this is an intense routine, and this is also a very specific performance practice, performance preparation routine, what you would do in the day of your concert or day before your concert. It's also very important knowledge. It makes you feel secure and comfortable, confident. Okay, so when you follow regular practice routine, you will have 2 sections in your practice. The first section will last about 12 days, where you will learn a new piece. The second big section, dedicated to repertoire maintenance, and it depending on how large your repertoire is, it might last from 1 to 7 days. Let's say 7 days is if you have, I don't know, 15 pieces. So now let's take a look even closer. So in the first large section, while practicing a new piece, this is the routine that you will follow. First of all, it's very important to understand what morning session is for and what is afternoon session is for. Morning session is really great for mental practice, for building new sensations in your mind, in your body. Is where the mind is very sharp, you are full of energy. That's why it is great to spend your morning session 1.5 hours for going through a new piece, whether it's analysis stage, learning, or performance practice. The afternoon session is when we are a little bit tired, when we feel kind of blurry in our mind, you know what I mean. So you can use the session to go through something that does not require too much energy to fuel your brain. So no much mental practice, only repeating something that you have already learned. That's why repertoire maintenance, that includes just clarifying phrasing, clarifying some patterns and movements. It's perfect for afternoon session. And at the end, you can include going through the part of your repertoire, make just one playthrough, and again, to say it shortly, when you are playing and everything feels comfortable, everything is well integrated, the motions are well done, they are efficient, they are smart, you know exactly what you do, everything is connected. It's just you play in the flow, you know how to play in the zone, it's not just an accident. Then playing through repertoire will never feel like a chore, it will feel like a deep healing meditation. So you would actually want to do it for your own pleasure, not to not out of fear. Okay, that's the difference. So for the morning session, you practice a new piece about 1.5 hours. For the afternoon session, 1/2 hour to 1 hour, you just make repertoire maintenance and repertoire playthrough. That's a very light part here. After 12 days, you're moving to the next section, which is repertoire maintenance. This section is fully dedicated to this part. So if this one we were just kind of lightly touching here in the afternoon, then there we're going fully about it, and we will talk about this in a moment in more detail. Again, there is no learning a new piece, there is a little break now, so you can use this plan for your morning or afternoon sessions. Obviously, it's great for mornings, but sometimes you might be lazy or busy in the morning, so you can also do it in the afternoon. Wonderful. Let's just cover a little bit. We're gonna skip intense practice session, but I know many of you would like to learn about this. Performance preparation practice routine. Many students ask me, many students go into anxiety on the day or the day before because they feel they're not doing something right. They're not sure what they're supposed to do. In the morning session, you want to make 3 playthroughs through your repertoire. This is very important. You want to make sure that, again, you're not going to be exhausted. It's a morning session. Let's assume most of the gigs are in the evening, okay? So you might even have some nap after that. So don't be afraid to waste all your energy on this, and fully engage, play in the zone, connect to your muse, play in a listening state, make 3 playthroughs. 3 are very important. For those of you who don't know about performance practice stage, usually we need to reach the 3rd repetition to fully open up and play freely. So if you play just once and you're already in anxious state, it's gonna only add up to your anxiety. So don't stop on just one playthrough. In the afternoon session, just dedicate this time to prepare your hands for the performance. So you want to make sure you drink enough water even the day before. That really helps to bring lots of energy to the fingertips. And also go through strength, speed and stamina exercises. This is a great exercise for warming up and speeding up. Again, I cover it in it's basically scales, arpeggios and octave and chords that you are practicing in a certain way. I practice it in a silent mode on my keyboard because sometimes I have to play very, very loud. I use a lot of strength. And because I'm so good at this, I can even watch a calming video to calm my nerves, because I know I will be thinking about my performance in the evening. Now we are starting our regular practice routine. Again, everything here is important, every little detail. So it will take about 2 hours, and every new piece that we will refer to consists of 4 or 5 pages, lasts about 4 or 5 minutes, slow to moderate paced, or 1-2 minutes if it's a fast music. As I said before, we are the way the practice journal is built is starting from high above and then zooming in more and more into details. So this is again a nice overview. This is your long-term tracker, just like the ones that you might use for your daily habits trackers or mood trackers. As you can see, these are the days, these are your months. This is for 4 months tracker. The pink boxes correspond to analysis stage, blue is learning, performance practice is purple, repertoire maintenance are yellow, and this olive is rest day. Those rest days I always include after you go through completing a new piece. You kind of need exhale. You've done so much with your brain. You really want a 1-0 day where you sleep, eat a lot, and just don't touch piano. Then you go to your repertoire maintenance zone, and then again after that, before starting a new piece, you really want to exhale again, and then you start a new piece again. I find these breaks are very important. If you don't have those breaks, then all of this just becomes a one long, very exhausting line. And those little off days are really, really necessary here. So allow yourself to have them. So I think this is very clear. So let's say you have piece number 5, you go through analysis stage with it, through learning, through performance practice. Later at the end of the book you even have it printable in a much bigger size, so you can print it out and for your satisfaction check or cross the box where you finish the day. It feels really nice, but maybe it's just me. Then you have your break, then you have those repertoire maintenance days, then you start a new piece again. All right, now what are those? These are the ones that we are going to practice in the afternoon. So these are the light versions of this. I want to show you what they refer to. They refer to what we've just discussed a few minutes ago, this part. This is a light version of your full-blown repertoire maintenance period over here. So this is what it is, this part. Now the question is, why do I include them here? Why we cannot just go through a new piece, let's say number 7, and then spend, let's say, 4 days for tidying up our previous pieces and make a repertoire playthrough? You probably know the answer. If you go for about 12 or 13 days without playing or repeating your previous pieces, you will end up having a deep fear to actually start coming back to them again, because deep down you will know you kind of forgot them. They don't feel so comfortable when you feel a little bit confused, when you have lots of blank spaces in your mind about, phrasing or movement directions or technique. So it is very important to have the islands, to have some kind of freedom in your repertoire maintenance, even while you are studying a new piece. Again, you might ask, why didn't I just put every single box yellow? It's because these 2 days of analysis stage, the first 2 days, and 3 days of learning stage are really, really heavy on your mind. You upload lots of movements here, you do lots of mental practice over here, and here there are lots of repetitions, memorizations, work on arrows. Like, you are stuff in your mind, so you're so exhausted in your morning sessions here that you just don't want to touch the piano in the afternoon. It's really, really hard. While these days, 4 to 6 days in analysis stage, or 3 days in your performance practice, where you just sort of play through a few times, these are quite light on your mind. There's nothing really new you do in your mental practice here. These days could be, but still not too much practice. So it's all very calculated in a way. This is not by accident here, you understand. So again, zooming out, you can see that during 4 months, if you practice 2 hours a day, you can finish about 7 to 8 pieces. Now we're zooming out even more to each day. Just to give you overview here. This is your new piece. You go through analysis stage for 6 days, learning stage 3 days, and performance practice stage 3 days. These days over here is where you make public audition or home audition, playing for your student or a friend, or playing in different showrooms. These are the days that are not included in this regular practice routine, and really those days you can never really plan. You kind of go with it when you have opportunity, so they can stretch to infinite numbers of days, really. So we finished here. Okay, this part is your morning sessions over here. This part is your afternoon session. Remember those over here light? Let me show you again. So this part is these yellow boxes, or these afternoon sessions. All right. So coming back here, let's zoom in. Your first 2 days very heavy on the technical analysis and mindset and mental practice. We're not doing anything here. Now when we start our day 3, we can now in the afternoon include our light repertoire maintenance routine. Let's take a look closer of what exactly we do here. These numbers are the numbers of your pieces. Piece number 1, piece number 2, etc. These symbols correspond to how confused you feel about the piece that you want to maintain, that you want to clear up a little bit. So the 3 gray boxes means that's pretty bad. This means you're quite clear about the phrasing and everything, so you're going to use this routine. So just to clarify, you're not doing all of this. You just sort of choose. You feel it intuitively how bad the piece is. So you go, okay, I need a general, really, either I need just a light cleaning of my room, or I need to really move the furniture and, hoover and mop everything around and dust. If that's the case, then you go with 5 playthroughs through, let's say, piece number 1 that you practiced, 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I would always start with conducting, no matter which template of repertoire maintenance I choose. As you can see, you always start with conducting. What that means is that you put the score in front of you, even though you know you can play it by memory, but you look through it, conducting and playing it in my mind, but also registering and refreshing the phrase, shape and length, the musical form, maybe even dynamics, if something is forgotten by that time. Sometimes I even find that I was not aware of some arm motion patterns, or maybe I changed something. So this is what I do here, not touching the piano. Then I go to my playthroughs. I play 3 times, playing, just focusing on what you do here. The next 2 times I make a playthrough, artistry step 3, focusing on the listening state, focusing on my spirit, on my soul, on creativity, on following my muse, on playing in the zone. And I'm using the same template, but if it's a little bit more clear in your mind, then you only make 3 playthroughs. You conduct the first playthrough playing just from your mind, the second 2 playthroughs focusing on playing from your spirit, right? And if the piece is very clear, or let's say you don't have much time, or you feel a little bit tired, then just pick the piece that feels quite clear and just spend 10 minutes. You can conduct it once in your mind and then play once from the listening, creative, improvising state. Now let's talk about this part. This is a playthrough your repertoire. We're not playing through the entire repertoire, as you can see, when we're in the light repertoire maintenance afternoon session. We only take a part of the repertoire. Usually, personally, I take the pieces that I previously just, that are still fresh in my mind. So if, for example, here, look, the part of the repertoire I would choose would include pieces number 4, 3, 2, and 1. They would not include pieces number 5, 6, and 7, because I'm afraid to play them. They're not clear. Why would I play through them? So you understand the idea. So I'm not playing through the entire repertoire, only through the recent pieces. What you will also notice is that I did not place the playthrough on every day. I avoid that. Why? Because, again, through the experience, these days are the lightest on our mind. This is a very little mental practice here, and this is a very simple intonation technique over here. So the mind is not overwhelmed. We not only can practice in the afternoon, choosing one of these templates to make repertoire maintenance, but we can also add as a third section in our practice a playthrough the part of our repertoire. If I put it here, in other words, it would be too much. At the same time, I could also completely erase this here. But again, you want to make sure that you can play through pieces in a row, that it's in your hands. It also feels quite nice because, if opportunity arises, and sometimes taking it by surprise, a person comes here, or you go on the street and you see a free piano, it's very good for your self-esteem if you know that just yesterday afternoon you played through 3 pieces. Yeah, you can do it, It's great. So this is very important. Now, in the learning stage, we have day 7 over here, day 8, day 9, they're very heavy. And as you can see, there is nothing like this is happening in the afternoon session. These are only morning sessions of day 7, 8, and 9. Again, these parts we can trace to here, these blue boxes here. We have no repertoire maintenance over here. Let's zoom in again. We're moving to the last 3 days of learning a new piece, performance practice stage, day 10, 11, and 12. On every day, I added in the afternoon, again, the light repertoire maintenance practice session. And I added the playthrough at the end on these days because, in my opinion, again, they are quite light to our mind, to our even nervous system than this one. That takes no time at all to play for your family member 3 times. 15 minutes really. To play through 10 times while recording yourself also will take probably maybe 45 minutes. But here you need to engage in your element. You need to learn how to play in the zone. You do it for the first time. It could be a little bit stressful. So your full attention will go into that. Your full energy will go into that in the morning. So in the afternoon you still can do that, but the playthrough of the repertoire, you probably will not want to do this. All of this, by the way, is the result of many years of practice. So you can see why it is so detailed, because for so many years, every morning I would update it, and every morning it would feel more and more complete and more specific and working better and better, at least for me. This is what I do, by the way. The next page, again, I'm not sure if we're zooming in here, but we're zooming in more over here. Now this repertoire integration corresponds to this part, these yellow boxes, or this part. I call it here repertoire maintenance, but it's also correct way to say that it is repertoire integration, because you can see that what we do here is waving in the piece that we just learned into our current repertoire. So if we have 2 pieces, we are adding, if we just learned the piece number 3, we're adding that piece number 3 and we play in the repertoire 3 pieces. Okay, that's the idea. But if we take just a closer look at basically what's in here, again, a very specific time, what you can achieve in a very specific amount of days or months, 30 minutes in 4 months, it's about 7-8 pieces. So these parts, which are written are very concise here. Analysis stage, learning, performance. I'm not going in depth here because this is what we refer to over here when we see this. So this is your first piece. You spent your first 12 days. There is no repertoire integration or maintenance here because there is nothing to maintain here. So you move on right away to the next piece, and after spending 12 days, you take that 1 day off here. Remember those olive boxes, and then you move on to repertoire integration. And the difference between that light version that we used while we learned a new piece in the morning is that you're not only practicing the previous piece, you also consolidate your newly learned piece, and then you always make repertoire playthrough. So let's say you learn piece 1, then you've just finished piece 2. So what you do, you go through a full-blown repertoire maintenance with piece 1, which probably will take you about 45 minutes or maybe 1 hour. Your 5 playthroughs with conducting. Then you make 5 playthroughs of your new piece. Why there is no maintenance here? Because there is nothing to maintain. You've just finished it. All the sensations are clear. There's no confusion about phrasing or dynamics or form or choosing the right timing. There's no confusion about conducting and arm motions. It's clear. All you need here is to just play it a little bit more, to really feel more confident about everything you've just learned. And this is what you do here. And you finish with your repertoire playthrough those 2 pieces. Then you make a break again, that olive box, day off. Then you start your next piece, break again. You start repertoire integration over again. So now you have 3 pieces. What do? You go repertoire maintenance with your first piece. You play through 5 times your newly learned piece number 3 to consolidate all the sensations. And you play pieces number 1 and 3. The next day, you add the second piece, and then you finish with repertoire playthrough of 3 pieces. Following this plan, by the end of your 4th month, or even if it's 7 pieces, after 3.5 months, you look here, you can play through 7 pieces. 25-30 minutes of music right there in your hands, confident. The next page is again, we are getting even a more closer look into the days. What exactly do we do? So for example, this is day 2, and it corresponds to this over there, that one. Or if we look at the tracker, it relates to this day over here. So as you can see, no afternoon session here, so quite tough day. And yes, if we look closely, what do we do on that day? Then we make a lot of mental practice with separate hands and hands together, playing them with correct motions that we uploaded a day before with the fingering and the elbow and wrist motion. And then we also infuse every note with the energy of our needs. So, if we worked here, we figure out we need a need of acceptance, need of being accepted, a need of feeling safe and protected and embraced. Then that energy we infused in our imagined sound over here, because that's one of also reason why we experience so much anxiety, is because the energy that we use unconsciously, that we embed unconsciously or subconsciously, better say, into our sound imagination. So even if we play correctly with very efficient, comfortable hand motions, even if we imagine in the right texture every sound, that helps to create a sensation of warm hands, if the energy at the end is still holds the trauma of being rejected or failures in the past, lots of anxiety there, then you will never feel free when you play. Alright, so these are our analyzing days, day 1, day 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. Then we're going to the learning stage. Remember, there are 3 days, 7, 8 and 9. And our performance stage, 10 till 12-ish. But on the next page, I also included from day 15 onwards. That's what we previously discussed. When the opportunity arises to play in other places, for different groups of people, different instruments, in different, you can see concert halls, churches, Stanways, libraries. I could include libraries here. Even music festivals, piano schools, yeah, you name it, you know better. Then you sort of do it during the next weeks or even months or years. What else do we have? This is pretty much the one that we have discussed earlier, but it is a printable. So if you're loving being systematic and tracking things and crossing and checking things that you've done, this is a very satisfying for you because you print it out, and if you pass day one, you cross it here, and you can even check that it took you probably 2 hours. And again, it's just all laid out for you here in this horizontal position, because you can actually see the entire process of learning a piece, going through analysis stage, learning, and performance practice stage. The next page is another printable. That's your long time tracker here. Again, for your convenience, you can print it out and check those lovely boxes. The next part we're not going to discuss. It is about intense practice. It's a little bit different, but the same principle. It will take you about 3 to 4 hours. We're going to skip that. Maybe it's worth mentioning at the very end I included my own practice journal, because what kind of teacher I am if I'm not following what I'm preaching myself? And you can find it also in PDF over here. But the idea is that over the past years, I've been following this practice journal, and I learned with that so many pieces that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel. And you can see some Rachmaninoff sonatas here, and Ravel and Debussy, and more neoclassical music like Hanya Rani and Philippe Glass. But what is cool about it is that for every stage and every day you have a corresponding videos. So if you want to see Rachmaninoff Sonata 2 Movement 1 Section 3, how I practice day 3, imagining harmony, dynamics and voicing, click on it, because every single icon is clickable. Now, I'm not very proud of those videos. Like, I'm never proud of the videos that I've done like many years ago. These were done about 3 to 4 years ago. I think the best ones starting somewhere from here. These are the most recent ones. I would really suggest you to maybe even start with those. Though you can find that my early videos were maybe more detailed, and especially if you're classical pianist, you might be really interested how this technique and how this practice journal can be applied to quite an advanced high-level repertoire like Rachmaninoff Sonata, rather than simple pieces by Philippe Glass or basic level pieces of Debussy and Ravel. Basic level, I mean, they're really, really simple ones. Not like Debussy and Ravel. Ravel is a basic level, they're not. Alright, so that was the journal, and I hope that was inspiring and maybe even helpful.